All right, let's get started. So we'll be going over 2 replays. All right, I'll start with the one on neosulfid. This is going to be game 1 for Tentacruel. All right, let's see. Okay, so I did look at the games beforehand, so I have some thoughts for sure, but I'll look at it, everything from your perspective. Okay. Okay, speed this up. So I think the way I like to approach it is that I'll focus a little bit less on build, unless it's something that's like really egregiously wrong, and I will focus more on concepts. Like if you're supposed to cut a probe here for this specific building, like I don't think that's that important at this level, but if there's something like really obvious or really significant, I'll point it out, but mostly I'll go over concepts. Okay, going over gateway here. Okay. Usually I like to scout on 13 supply, so typically getting core first and then scouting is a little bit better. This is one of those things that doesn't make the biggest of deals in terms of like winning or losing the game, but I think it makes a bit of a difference in economy. You get quite a bit more money if you keep this probe mining until much later. So I'd scout after core, especially if you're going the standard 1-gate tech build. Usually you scout probe after gateway if you're going for like a zealot a pressure build, but let's see if you do that. If so, great, but if not, then I would just wait until later to... Okay, it looks like you're going core, and then yeah, if you don't go zealot, I'll wait until scout after this core. So you don't see him at 12, go to the last remaining position. Okay, so far so good. Okay, you see a Marine, and then right here you see that he's building a factory. Okay. So one thing to pay attention is that the standard build is that once they start the factory, and that's going to be around 2 minutes and 30 seconds, once they start that, the general build is factory expand. That's like the bread and butter for Terran, right? After they build the factory or they start the factory, they pull 2 SCVs off gas, so they'll have 1 SCV mining. When you were scouting here, you saw that he kept all 3 SCVs mining. Usually, this is a signal for 2 factory, because in no other situation you don't need that amount of gas if you're just going to build a command center. So optimally, they would take these 2 SCVs off and build a command center, put them back on eventually. But if you see that, this is generally either a 2 factory or 1 factory starport build. So you saw that these 3 SCVs were mining, so this should tip you off that this is an aggressive build and less likely to be an expand. Now there is a chance, because not everyone's playing optimally at this level, there is a chance that he just maybe forgot to take off the SCVs. That is certainly true, and he could expand anyway, but that just wouldn't be optimal. That can still be the case, but just keep in mind that this is usually a big tell. Okay, you pull that probe back, it survived from the Marine, that's great. Let's see, okay. Okay. So, okay, you went 21 Nexus, okay. I liked, especially in this situation where especially in the situation where it's possible that you can that there could be an aggressive build coming, I usually go 23 Nexus. I wrote in the Discord that 21 Nexus is not very good because the second goon's so delayed, and then it just pushes out all the other goons later in the timeline, and so that makes it a lot weaker to defense. So I definitely prefer 23 Nexus. I just think it's safer, especially if you see that gas thing going on. I would not do 21 Nexus. I think that's too risky. If you're in this, if you with this probe kind of hover around his natural, and if you see him building command center, then it can be okay to do that. But doing this blind, I think, is way too risky. Okay, here's another thing. If they expand, it's only going to be 3 Marines. Terrans should only expand. They're only going to make enough Marines to defend, and the typical thing to do is get 3 Marines and a bunker to defend after they build the CC. So that's the main thing to differentiate, is that are they expanding and going defensive, or are they going aggressive? This 4th extra Marine tells me that they could be going more aggressive. I would have liked maybe just to poke, take a little bit of damage. I know it's 3 Marines, but let's just take a look at this one more time. So we know the spoiler to this story. We know that he's not going for an expand, but watch this just for a little bit. The timing for a command center is right around when the Nexus starts. So typically 3:30 is when the command center starts. And my goal with my goon is to see if there's a command center. And I can do that with just walking in and walking back and just taking shield damage. It's a very common technique. The weird part right now is that the game timer is at 4:25, so I'm a little bit confused on... Okay, so you killed... Well, that's still a little late. Let's see what happened. Okay. Okay, I see. Okay, I'll tell you what the pro gamer thing to do is. What you did is fine. There's a little bit of delay. You killed SCV, there was a little bit of delay. So typically what optimal play is that as this, you want to make a beeline from your gateway all the way to his base. If the SCV comes by, then you just shoot a few shots. As it runs out of range, then you just leave it alone, keep running, and just have your second goon finish the SCV off. This is so that your goon arrives here around 340, 330-ish. Okay. So he bought a lot of time. You killed his SCV, which is good, but he bought a lot of time so that you're not at his base. Right around, how to say this, if you had just made a beeline, you've been here much earlier. I'll try to use a visual to explain my point. Okay. Right here, your goon can run here, around here, see if there's a CC here, and then run back. And the most important thing is that it doesn't take damage in the green. The hull is what some people call it. If it takes some shield damage, that's totally okay because it regenerates. But as long as you can see this and not take any hull damage, then you'll know exactly that, hey, it's past 3:30, he hasn't started a command center, this is going to be an aggressive build, he's going to try to kill me. And the other tell that you saw was the 4 Marines. So right now, if I see this, I'm getting my command robo. All this is good. I want to get 3 gateways as quickly as possible. This doesn't matter whether he's going 2 factory or 1 factory starport. You know he's going for a tech build. Your goal is that, or your thought process is that I have 2 nexuses. He only has 1 command center. If I can hold on to my bases, if I just survive, I'm going to win the long run. So that's your win condition. He is super screwed if he gets his timing blocked. So your mindset is, I want to do everything possible to survive this attack. So that means cutting probes to get your gateways up faster, getting your observatory, getting your observatory and getting your obs out, and even adding a shield battery too. If it's 2 factory, once you have all your goons and lined up to defend, even bring out your probes. You can bring out all your probes from your natural to attack. Even if you lose every probe and your nexus lives, that's totally okay. He barely would have started his command center, second command center, and then you have 2 nexuses to rebuild probes. So that was a long way just to say that you just want to live. That's all you need to do, and you will win the long run because you have the infrastructure to economically grow exponentially compared to him. Okay, so a couple things. Okay, yeah, at this point I definitely want the gate, yeah. And yeah, I would not build these probes. Later in the game, once like you have a really robust economy, you get a lot of money very quickly. And second, how do I say this? The time period of like a difference of 5 to 10 seconds doesn't matter a lot. But in this situation, when you're holding off a timing attack, this matters a lot. The investment of the money in these probes, that needs to go to the 3rd gateway as soon as possible. Generally what I like to do is that once I spot that he's not having a command center, I build my robo, and from there I don't build a single probe. I just build I pump out the goons and then add 2 gateways. I know that's against CPL advice of make a lot of workers. That's making a lot of workers generally the right thing to do, but when it comes to holding off timing hacks, it's gonna hurt you. In fact, it'll be a cause of your demise if you just blindly build workers and not react to what your opponent is doing. So I build 3rd gateway here. So these are a bit late, and then you can see that this, and I know you're microing here, but yeah, there's just no, there's a lot, there's investment in economy, but that's not going to help against this. Gateways and goons need to be prioritized. And another problem was going to be the 21 Nexus build. You're short a goon. You would have 4 here. So here's how it should look. If you had cut probes to build the 3 gateways on time, you would have 4 goons by this point. And by the time the Terran arrives around here-ish, you would have 4 goons, and then the 3 more would come out, and you just buy a little bit of time, and then you wait until you have 7 goons, and once you have 7 goons, that's when you engage. And then engage with probes too. That's how it should look. Right now I'm just seeing, wow, you're really short on goons. You have 3, your 4th, 5th, and 6th aren't even close to being done. This Terran will never lose this fight. Like, you give a Protoss pro gamer this fight, they will never win this. So, Yeah, and he caught a lot of SCVs to make this happen too. Um, so this was I wish. So these are small details, and usually small details don't matter, but they do matter in this particular situation. Making sure that you're not making or pumping out workers and try and get your gateways as soon as possible to make the defense. That's going to be important here. And here, what I maybe would have done, it's a hard situation as is. What I would have done, because your goons aren't going to win this fight, you make another 2 pylons here, make a full wall, and and from there, the tanks can't come past the wall, only the Marines can. And from there, just attack the Marines with the goons, back off, buy time, and just buy time until these come out. And then once you have your 5 or 6 goons, then attack all together, because donating your units piecemeal it's going to be rough. There's just no way to win that. Okay, so from here, I know the game goes on for much longer game time wise, but essentially the game is over. Once Terran kills the Nexus, they can set up a contain here and start their second CC. And by the time Protoss is able to build to break out, if they're even able to break out, they're at such a huge disadvantage that it was all for nothing. So this is a win condition of 2 factory. I know you end up killing this eventually, but look at this. You're at such a disadvantage, it just does not matter. Uses command center started. You're at 7 probes. I'm just going to stop here because there is an argument that you want to play this out, you want to build resilience, but I think our goal is to set you up for good situations. Like right here, if I kept talking, I think it's just too hard. This is too hard of a situation for anybody, to be honest with you. But it's like we're in a fight and we both have swords and I cut your arm off. And then if I kept going with this analysis, the goal of that discussion will be, okay, how do I fight with 1 arm versus this guy with 2 arms? That's not the right question anymore. The question should be, how do we keep both our arms and stand a chance in this? I think that's the concept that I want to convey. And I kind of went through the details of how to hold off that push. And once you do hold off that push, you'll be in a really, really good situation. So I don't want to keep going with this replay because I think, like I said, I think the previous concept I think is way more important. So let's go to the next game. Okay, so it looks like we wanted to review Polestar. Okay, same thing. I'm gonna turn his vision off. I like to speed it up till about 2 minutes and then review from there. Okay, so you did the Gateway Scout again. Which is okay. In case he does do something super cheesy like barracks supply, then it might be good, but generally speaking, you just won't see that. Okay. Okay. I know it's super hard to do your build and then also pay attention to your pro, but it's going to be important to do that. Once you get to a ramp, especially if it's last scout, you know he's going to have units there. You really want to pull back as soon as possible, or at least get here. If it starts getting attacked, then you know there's Marines there and just run back. The reason why you want to do that is because you want to see if there's a command center being started around like the magic number, which was 3 minutes 30 seconds. The other thing to note is that once they start to move out around let's say 3 minutes and 20 seconds, that's when they'll like start a bunker or start this command center. You can run away with your probe, but in doing so, you still have vision of when they're moving out. When they move out like that, that's a really good indication that they're expanding. But the problem is, if our probe dies right here, we don't know if it's two factory. We don't know if they're expanding. That's the one thing that Protoss really needs to know before they move on with the game. Because, like you saw earlier, when we don't know, when we can't predict that that aggressive opening, then we just die. Because we have to make pretty significant adjustments to our build if we do see that. But if we don't see it, then we're just playing blind, and we just kind of have to guess. 60%, 80% of the time they are going to go expand, but this is an easy way for them to fool you if you don't have vision here. I would not build this gate. I would not build this pylon here. You still have 5 supply remaining. That money should have gone to the Nexus right away. Small detail, especially if you build this pylon if you're making 2 or 3 goons as well as probes. But if you're doing neither, then this pylon doesn't make sense. See, now you're at 2233. It's yeah, doesn't line up very well. Okay. But wait, hold on. So, oh, you built a rowboat before then. Okay, either you can do that. That's not really meta nowadays because you can see here when you do that, it puts your Nexus timing behind their command center. Generally speaking, Protoss wants their Nexus timing to be ahead, or at the very least even, because you want to gain an economic advantage against Terran as much as possible. But when you build Robo first, then you don't have enough money to make the Nexus alongside their command center. So that's why 21 Nexus, 23 Nexus is standard, but that means Nexus before Robo. Robo should come a bit after. Because there's no advantage to this, unless if you're going for a really fast Reaver drop, in which case, okay. It's just really risky, especially with you're just one Dragoon. Yeah, just you're just praying that he doesn't go 2 fact or even FD, which is 1 tank, 1 vulture, 5 marine, or 4 or 5 marines attack. You're instantly dead to any of those timings with just 1 Dragoon. So you got away with murder basically. Okay, let's see. Okay, Dragoon sitting home, making a Reaver now. Okay. So your goal is to harass with Reaver. You need to make the Robo facility about midway point of when the Reaver is being made, because you need this OBS as quickly as possible. So you can clear mines and get your 3rd up, or whichever one you want. I prefer this one. The later that this OBS is delayed, the later your vision is going to be, the later your 3rd is going to be. So you can see it all cascades. If this timing is late, then your 3rd is late, and then everything is a little bit later. So you want if you want to do this, that's fine, but just try to line things up a little bit cleaner. I know, gosh, I know I didn't want to go over small details, but these things definitely add up. Okay, yeah, this is really risky. Like, it's really scary to move out on mine. So the 5 minute mark, 5 minutes is usually when Terran finishes their mines research. So if they go factory expansion, machine shop, sorry, factory, vulture, CC, machine shop, mines. Their mines should pop out around 5 minutes. So moving out without obs after the 5 minute mark is ill-advised. I would not do that. Okay, so you see that he didn't build turrets. You got some free shots off. Let's see what happens. Great. This is really good. You're doing some damage. Reaver Scarab bugs. Sucks. Okay. I would just stay here. He doesn't have either. If he has siege, force him to siege. But you can see you got 3 juicy SCVs that you can get for free here. If you hit the turret, you get that for free. That's in 5 minerals that you wouldn't be able to cancel on time. So this is like I don't know. You flying into a more dangerous area with 3 tanks is kind of scary, but it's just so free here. Just take what he's giving to you. Take what he's giving to you. Don't make things hard on yourself. Okay, good. Okay, yep. Awesome. Very good. Very nice. Okay. And you want okay. So this is a little slow. I'm sure that's obvious. So the shuttle was here, the Reaver was here. You want to keep the Reaver or the shuttle on top of it as much as possible so that it can pick the Reaver up as quickly as possible. You can use there's 2 ways to do it. You can select both, so it would have the wireframe of both the shuttle and the Reaver. I don't know if I can do, okay. Let me do that again. Okay, so one other thing is that dropping with a goon or a zealot or 2 zealots helps us a lot, because you want the dragoon or the zealot to drain or take up tank shots, and that allows your Reaver to live a lot longer. Having it naked like this is okay. It only looks really good because he doesn't have any adequate defense, like no turrets, no siege mode. But if he did have those things, having that extra unit alongside the Reaver helps a lot. So try to, okay. So yeah, so like this, select both. Move the shuttle. There's 2 ways to do it. So if you select both like this and you right click the shuttle, just right click on the shuttle, the shuttle will automatically move toward the Reaver, and the Reaver will try to go in the shuttle. That's a very common way to reload the Reaver into the shuttle. The other way, there's a load button on the shuttle, which is L, but a lot of people will remap it to a different key. I have it on E, I believe, and you can take the shuttle, press E or L or whatever key you want, and then press onto the Reaver. That's going to help load onto it as well. So those are 2 easy ways to load the Reaver. Your goal with this Reaver, yeah, it's to kill SCVs, but it's also to buy a lot of time, or it's meant to buy you as much time as possible. You can see with this Reaver threat, there's 2 things that there's 2 things. So one, you did kill SCVs, but look at all this mining time that he's losing by not mining at this as natural. So that's good. But the other thing is that he's focusing his attention of using these tanks to attack your Reaver. Now imagine for a second your shuttle loads up your Reaver, it moves over here, then turns like, oh my god, I have to go all the way here, and then you run around or something, and you force him to build turrets. He's like, oh gosh, I need to build a turret here, and it's like, oh my god, I need to build a turret here, and you just run around, and you drop the Reaver where there are weak spots, and you kill more SCVs, and he's just having to, micro the tanks. He has to send these SCVs back here. He has to build more turrets. He has to do so many things just to keep this Reaver at bay and prevent it from doing more damage, that he, in all doing this, is not able to progress with his build. So let's say, for example, he's going for more factories. If he has all this attention spent doing all these things I just described, he doesn't have the APM or mental space to build like more factories or more supply depots. Like, this is the essence of StarCraft, is that you're trying to tax your opponent's attention and multitask. Like, we can only do so many things at once, but your goal is that you want to spend up as much time, mental headspace that you can of his, while trying to progress on your own. You see, it is taxing on you too. We don't have a third base. We need more gateways. So this is why StarCraft is hard, because you want to progress with your infrastructure too, while taking away from his. So, but that's the goal here. You're just trying to buy a lot of time and attention, and that's going to really detract him from his progression in his game. But as you can see here, our Reaver dies. So, do we do enough damage? Hard to say. You did force up more turrets, which is good. You did distract him from building SCVs, but like at the same time, you didn't build probes on your own. You didn't build more gateways, and you don't have your third up still. And you have 1,400 minerals. So the value of something is also determined by how well you do at home. If, let's say, you did have all your gateways up, your third base up, more probes built, observers out. If your observer would have definitely been out by now. If all those things were out, then I would say, oh my gosh, that was such a, that the Reaver's dead, but you're so much far ahead of him now. But because you didn't do those things, I would say it's kind of even. He's put pretty far behind, but you are still you are behind compared to where you would be if you had just focused on your build, right? So the perfect the ideal situation would be that you have a perfect build and you got that Reaver harass off, but that's not realistic for anyone to have perfect harass and perfect. It's always a trade-off, but what I would definitely like to see is more focus on the progression of your build, because this is the backbone of your game. Your gameplay's backbone is your infrastructure and getting all your units, probes, and buildings and units on time. Like, it's great that you got the harass off, but focusing on your own home is the most important thing. So I'd say it's about even. He didn't build SCVs, so he's maybe behind as a result, but you don't have your third base up, so yeah, it's kind of a wash, I think. What am I doing? Okay, so right here I think to myself, okay, I did get some harass off, but I need to build my infrastructure. I like the 5 gateways. This is a lot. Especially if you know he's not going for a timing push. Let's see what happened. So we know we killed a bunch of SCVs. Our Reaver, or our shuttle sees, okay, he has 2 factories. Well, actually, let me see if we saw that. Okay. 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 We see one factory. Yeah. So this is fine. We don't see everything, but we. I mean, so we can use this shell to just fly around here, maybe a little bit, but at the same time, having the obs out about now would be ideal. Generally speaking, the standard a build is to have 2 gateways and just pump dragoons just from 2 gateways, get your 3rd up, and then add 2 more. So you have a total of 4 after this 3rd. Having 5 gateways before your 3rd is it's overkill. I'd only do this if they're doing some super aggressive cutting SCV like timing push, but from all indications we didn't see that coming. So if you want to be extra safe, 3 gateways is fine. 4 is okay, but the most important thing is try to get our 3rd up, because we know he has 2 bases. We want to get our 3rd up to equalize our economy or get ahead of his. So for sure, that's our #1 goal. 3rd. Okay, we got a 3rd. All right. I usually don't recommend this, but I think it's okay. There's a lot of details surrounding this that I don't really want to get into right now, but okay, so you took a 3rd and 4th. Okay. Now I don't like this. Let me think of why. I think primarily we just don't know what he's doing. If you saw that he was building a CC right now, then this is perfect. This is perfect. But we don't know if he's going for a 6 factory push or a 5 factory push. And even with these 5 gateways, even if you have 5 gateways, if you went 6 factory or 5 factory, Protoss is dead. You can't fight 5 fact or with 5 gateway. The golden rule is that you want 1.5 times the number of gateways that he has factories. So, but because we don't have any vision, we can't make that determination. So if he just went like 2 factory into expand, this is actually pretty good. But because we don't know what he's doing this blind is very dangerous, very risky. If he doesn't attack you and he lets you get away with it, then it will feel that it's good. But in reality, a more competent Terran would never let this happen. They'll scan the number of gateways that you have and be like, okay, well his gateway count can't keep up with my factory count, so I'm going to attack him and kill him. That's how usually it goes. Okay. I definitely would want the ops to look at what he has in the base. Otherwise, we can't make a determination on what best to do. Okay, we made another Reaver. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Okay, so you have okay. Okay. This was going really well until it was kind of not going that well. So when I see this, I think like, okay, he is going for like a 4-fact, 5-fact timing. I didn't think he had the economy to keep up with it because didn't look like he was building SCVs for a while, but it looks like he's going for a 5-fact. 6-fact. This, in theory, would kill you. So let's see what happened. Yeah, and this attack was going well for you, and then okay, so you got some free vultures here because his tanks are really far away. Generally speaking, Terran's supposed to have everything clumped together, so once the tanks are attacking the vultures, they're taking tank hits too, but they're not doing that, so you just get some free vultures, so that's cool. Okay. Okay. So here, right now, what I think to myself is, okay, cool, these tanks are like out here. These two can't shoot because they're too far away, but this tank here can shoot, and then there's these 5 here. This is kind of a risky attack because goons melt so quickly to tanks, especially in siege mode. Generally speaking, you always want to have tanks that attack, goons that attack with zealots. Otherwise, the goons just melt too quickly. But you do have one zealot here. It's going to take a bunch of hits. I think to myself, okay, these goons can take these 2 tanks out. Maybe this tank. If I stay for this 4th, it's just going to take too many tank volleys. I want to take out these 2 at the very least and then just back off. And then wait for more zealot reinforcements. That's going to be my thought process. See, great. And then kill this 3rd one. And then, you see, like, because you're overstaying, a lot of goons die. I like the focus fire, but this is just a lot of goons being traded for 4 or 5 tanks. So I would like to snipe those 2 tanks in and back off and wait for more reinforcements. But as you can see, these 3 goons are eventually going to die. Yeah, tanks are just way too cost effective with goons alone. You need zealots. Oh, got that one too. Okay. So he doesn't reinforce very well. He doesn't remake units. Meanwhile, you are reinforcing, which is good. You have this up. You have this up. Okay. Where's his money? If he wasn't building... Oh, okay. Yeah, his economy I just don't think is strong enough to sustain 6 factory. I don't think he can afford it. Like, he lost all his tanks, so... What do I want to say to this? Your attack was good, but only because I think he slipped up on macro. Like I said, when he attacks, you don't want to attack without zealots, especially if he has siege tanks. If you can get free vultures from your goons, great. But if not, then pull back and wait for zealots to come out and then attack as a group. You know what? I know I missed something. Hold on. I think you did a really good move that I forgot to mention. Wait. Oh. It's right there. So if you had Reaver dropped while he was pushing out, there's two ways you can do it. One is that if you feel confident that you can kill his push with your Reaver, sorry. If you feel confident that you can kill his push without the Reaver, then by all means just move your ground army. But if you many times, some situations you will need the Reaver support to hold off the push. So with experience, you'll learn to make that call. But what would have been really great, like I said, going back to that concept of just like screwing with the Terran's head. Imagine for a second, so imagine when he moves out, like right here. Imagine if this Reaver was already dropped right here. One of two things is going to happen. One is that he's either going to be so focused on controlling this fight that he's not going to be able to run these SCVs, and they're all going to die. So even if your armies trade fairly evenly, he has no economy to then reinforce from all his factories. The other possibility is that if you had dropped the Reaver here and he notices, he has to take time to save them and run over to the natural. Meanwhile, if you're watching your army, he's going to fumble his attack. He's going to mess up. He's going to forget to siege. He's going to not lay mines. He's going to mess up somewhere. And because he's distracted here, you can attack, or you can capitalize on his mistake. Doing that would put him in a rock and a hard spot. So that's a pretty advanced concept, honestly, but it's these kind of things that you want to look for in terms of opportunity. Okay. So here, I don't like this when, like the sweet spot, like, so Protoss units, they kind of scale as you have more. You want at least a group of 8 goons to like really hit a critical mass to do damage. Just 3 goons by itself, they're just eventually going to die. They're not going to do that much damage. I would just save these and wait for 5 more and then put more pressure on. Another big problem is that, okay, we've just started mining from our 3rd now. So your economy isn't as good as it could be if you transfer some probes here. So, better late than never, but your economy is the backbone and you want to support your backbone as strongly as possible. One thing to keep in mind is that when your goons are the backbone of your army. Oh, this sucks. This is just unfortunate. I think the wall is like here, and then you have to build a 4th one. Anyway, when your goons are gone, you need to rebuild goons. Like zealots, they get eaten up by vultures and mines. They just die too quickly. You want to replenish your goons if those are gone. That's going to be number 1 priority. You'll also notice goons are more expensive. They take longer to make. So that's why you want to save them in fights. Losing your zealots is okay because they're cheaper and faster to produce versus goons. They're a lot more expensive time and money-wise, so you want to save those. As you can see, if you had more goons, then you could have done more damage when you're harassing the front or protecting against vultures. But if you do lose them, you have to remake them first. Remaking zealots is not the right move. So it looks like I think I missed something here. Okay, so you make a Reaver drop, which is good. Oh yeah. But he doesn't rebuild his economy, so you're at a really good spot, money-wise and economy-wise. I'm not sure what these are for. If it's for a DT drop, I don't like it because DT drop is usually good when the Terran doesn't have a lot of infrastructure. They don't have a lot of tanks, not a lot of turrets. But in the late game, in the late stages when a lot of this is already established, then this is not going to be quite as effective. I'm not really sure the thinking behind this, but it's not something that you see often, and there's kind of a reason for that. So yeah, your goal now is okay. I've crippled his economy. I don't know how big his army is, but my goal is to have my third mining, my fourth mining, just exploding gateways. So I like that you increase your gateway count. Honestly, on 4 bases, you can have 12 gateways. Your goal is just to survive at this point, and kill him if need be. Okay. So yeah, you don't need to expand anymore. Your focus should be just on building gateways and units, because you know for a fact that if you can hold this off, that you win the game. Because he has no choice. He's not taking a third. He's only a 2 base. Everyone knows that 4 base Protoss beats 2 base Terran. So his only method of winning the game is to attack, because he has nothing else going for him. Okay. Okay. Yeah, also, let's see. So this is just another maybe detail. If you're going to go for Arbiter, definitely make this a lot sooner. Stargate. Yeah, the money invested in DTs could have just been on the Stargate much earlier. So getting Arbiter is definitely a very standard tech move. Getting DTs, you can see they just died so quickly. They're just more expensive zealots. Like, you could bang on him not having scan or something, but most Terrans are going to have scan. And you paid 125 minerals and 100 gas to do something that a zealot at 100 minerals did better, or does better, because DTs are pretty fragile. So yeah, just another detail. I would get the Arbiter tech and skip the DTs. Okay. So what happened here? So your goal should be, okay, I do want to kill him. I want to take his army down. Oh, it's getting kind of late. Okay. Okay. You do want to clear mines. That's going to be important. Okay. Okay, so this is a pretty advanced concept, but I'm going to go through this anyway. So why does Terran lay mines? The obvious answer is that it protects their army, it kills other units. The main reason why Terrans lay mines, oh yeah, also denies bases. The main reason is that Terran can tell where your army is, right? So these mines say to him, okay, knowing that Protoss, if I can tell Protoss isn't here in the middle of the map, then he's holed up in his natural, which makes moving the Terran army very easy. Okay. You can see here, he's going to do it in a second. Yeah, so he knows he has a clear path. Okay, pretend though if there's mines up here in this region, then he can just have a clear path to go for his push. But because he has mines here, he knows that if these units move across here to attack your army, he has to clear the mines first or the units die. So he has a lot of time to set up here. And this is a really hard area to break because it's all uphill. And Protoss units attacking uphill is really difficult, especially against siege tanks. So that's why high level Protoss, they religiously clear mines. It's to limit map vision so that the Terran can't just freely go wherever they want. Imagine for a second okay. Imagine for a second that this was not here. And let's pretend this was here. And this whole thing was black. Okay? Pretend this whole region was black. Terrans scare out of their freaking minds to move out to try to kill you. They have to like send out vultures to like scout a little bit. They have to use up scans to see if you're flanking from like what area. But even just mines all around the map, they can save up on scans. They can move freely wherever they want. They know what angles that they have. Like from just, for example, let's say these vultures were just mines instead. Or these vultures are here for map control. That's totally applicable too. This tells Terran, or Terran now knows, oh, I get this area for free. I can set up camp here because there's no Protoss units here. And he knows that this is a hard area to break, so he's going to take advantage of that information that he knows. He's going to know that whether these 4 vultures are 4 mines or if they're vultures. But the main idea is that if you can clear mines, then he has no idea and he's going to be really scared to move out. That's the idea. So, okay. Yeah. You have a lot of supply, but they're not... I don't know where your army is. I think you just have a lot of... Yeah, you have 60 probes. That means you have 30 supply of units. So that's about 15... Yeah. 30... Yeah, about 15 units. Versus... he has about 40 supply of units. So he actually has almost more units than... Yeah, he has more units than you. Like, more fighting units than you. So that's why this looks hard, even though the supplies are so different. And honestly, if he pushed, like, really carefully, this would have been really scary. You have enough gateways of production to overpower this eventually, but... yeah... getting the gateway count much sooner and pumping out units, it's just a practice issue. No big deal. And then attacking with all of your army all at once, all together, that would have won you the game. Okay, I like the zealot drop. See, you're only attacking with like 5 or 6 units at a time. Imagine if like these were, if you just waited and waited for these zealots, like everything was just cleared so much quickly and more cleanly. So there's a lot of value to buying time and being patient with your fights. I know it's really hard because it's easy to pull the trigger, but yeah, patience is a virtue in these fights. Okay, from here the game is over. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, yeah, hit me up. But that's it for now. Peace.